Hey and welcome to the Daily Man United News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. David De Gea says that Manchester United must beat Barcelona to become the best. Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea has spoken of how the club must beat the top teams in Europe if it's to be successful. The Spanish keeper has said that the team must overcome any side that they face, regardless of their reputation. De Gea, who celebrated his 32nd birthday earlier this week, was talking to ManUnited.com and was asked his thoughts on United's Europa League draw. De Gea went on to say, "We know Barcelona is a great team. I think they are playing well. If you want to win the Europa League, you have to play against the best teams, and Barcelona is one of them. It's one for the fans, and we will try our best to win both games," added the 45 times capped Spaniard. After a shaky start to the season, conceding 7 goals in United's first 3 games, De Gea then saw Manchester City put 6 past him at Old Trafford in October, but De Gea has been in fine form of late, pulling off a string of important saves in most matches and letting in just 2 goals in 5 games before the weekend's defeat at Aston Villa. The importance of these displays hasn't been lost on his teammates either, with some of his defenders calling him out for praise in recent weeks. And all this has happened whilst having to concede that he is now Spain's fourth choice goalkeeper at best, but with the Barcelona dropping out of the Champions League, United will relish the opportunity of overturning the La Liga giants and have plenty of time to prepare. With the Red Devils set to face the Catalan side in two-legged play-off in February, a chance to return to his homeland and a glamour tie at Camp Nou will surely have United's back in form shot stopper licking his lips in anticipation. Glen Johnson says England have a huge Harry Maguire problem. The Qatar World Cup starts in just a few days, and when Gareth Southgate names his final squad on Thursday, it is expected there will be a few Manchester United stars. One of these is likely to be Harry Maguire. The English centre-back lost his place in the United team, with Eric Ten Hag preferring a defensive partnership of Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane. Nevertheless, Southgate is a huge fan of the United's keeper and has indicated he still heavily relies on the player, who has barely put a foot wrong for England. At times, Southgate's staunch defense of Maguire has not gone well with England fans who do not share his point of view with regard to the United defender. The same sentiments were echoed by former Liverpool man Glen Johnson, who said that Maguire should not be joining up with the rest of the squad going to Qatar. Johnson said that the Three Lions have a huge Maguire problem and must leave him out of the travelling party in favour of other stars, Johnson said via the Manchester Evening News. As a neutral, I think if a player can't get into his club team, then how can he be good enough for England? That's what I'd be thinking. I know it's United and they have got a good squad, but if Harry Maguire is classed as one of our best centre halves and he can't get into his club team, then I think we have got a problem. While Johnson may have raised a valid point, it's important to note that the 29-year-old has been largely faultless in an England shirt. In the run-up to the Euros, he was sidelined with an injury, but on his return, he was one of England's best players and even got named in the team of the tournament, as he helped his country reach the final. Fred says Manchester United have one major advantage over Barcelona in Europa League showdown. Manchester United have a mouth-watering fixture to look forward after the World Cup when the Red Devils will clash against Barcelona. The first leg will take place at Camp Nou on Thursday, February 16. The Blaugrana will then travel to Old Trafford for a return fixture 7 days later. The tie will see the two biggest teams in Europe's second-tier competition face off against each other in what promises to be a thrilling head-to-head. United midfielder Fred has said that his side has a major advantage over the Catalan club ahead of the game. Fred spoke to the club media and said that United's amazing fanbase would elevate the team to rise and tower over Xavi's men. The Brazilian said, "We were drawn against Barcelona. It will be a great game. I am sure we are ready for it. Players like playing in great fixture like these ones, and we are prepared for this game. God willing, we can qualify for the next round. Our stadium always has a great atmosphere with the fans constantly behind us. We haven't done as well in the last few seasons, but they have always been together with us, supporting the team. I am sure they will be here against Barcelona supporting us. They will give us strength to get the win. That's why it's so important to play in front of our fans and get a result here. Xavi himself hinted at United's historical heritage as something that is likely to hurt his team and reiterated that he would have wished to avoid the 20-time English champions. Hopefully, United can continue with their advancement under Erik ten Hag and make a meal out of their struggling historical rivals. Manchester United star will look for a permanent transfer after appearing at the World Cup. Manchester United star Facundo Pellistri will look for a permanent move away from the club after he appears at the World Cup later this month. Pellistri has struggled with injuries so far this season, so is yet to feature for Manchester United. The Uruguayan international is set to feature for his country at the World Cup, despite his lack of game time, and he could now be hoping to impress some clubs around Europe ahead of a potential transfer. According to Diario AS, Pellistri will look for a permanent transfer away from Manchester United after the World Cup when the January transfer window opens. To represent your country 7 times at just 20 years old proves Pellistri is a talented footballer, so the lack of chances at Manchester United could be forcing the youngster to look for first-team football. It's difficult to expect to play every single week at such a big club, but Pellistri has had a taste of senior football with his former club on loan at Alaves last season and his country. However, Pellistri didn't have the most positive impact out on loan, so maybe the lack of patience for first-team football isn't justified. Talks are ongoing between Manchester United and Everton over Luke Shaw. Talks between Manchester United and Everton regarding the transfer of Luke Shaw are ongoing. Shaw's current contract at Manchester United expires at the end of the season. The England international has often been rotated in and out of the team this season under Erik ten Hag after the Dutch manager brought in Tyrell Malacia in the summer transfer window. Now, according to Football Transfers, Manchester United and Everton held talks over the potential transfer of Shaw, with talks still ongoing. However, the report claimed that Shaw is hoping to sign a new contract at Manchester United rather than search for a move. United are reportedly concerned about Shaw's injury record, and official talks over an extension of his current contract are yet to begin. Everton signed Vitaly Mykolenko at the beginning of this year, but Frank Lampard could be looking for a more attacking fullback to provide competition for the Ukrainian defender. Mykolenko is one of the best 1-versus-1 defenders in the Premier League, but his attacking play leaves a lot to be desired, and his lack of creativity going forward could force Everton into finding a new left back. It remains to be seen if Everton moves for Luke Shaw or if United would sell Luke Shaw. Gary Neville hits out at the Glazer family after Liverpool decision. Gary Neville has called out Manchester United's owner, the Glazer family, following Liverpool's owner's decision to put the club up for sale. According to The Athletic, Liverpool's owners are now open to discussing the sale of the Merseyside club, and United fans are dreaming of the Glazer family following suit. Speaking recently on The Overlap via the Manchester Evening News, Neville went on to say, "I said 5 months ago Manchester United owners have to sell the club because they need the cash to redevelop the training ground and stadium like what Liverpool are doing," he said. Chelsea's valuation of $4 billion will only last for 12 to 18 months before people realize the club aren't making profit. It makes complete sense for Liverpool owners to want to sell the club as they don't have the money to compete with the other clubs in the league. They have developed the stadium, they have got Jurgen Klopp as manager, and if the Chelsea valuation is now set there as a benchmark for other clubs, owners are thinking now is a good time to get out. The Glazer family at Manchester United may be thinking the same thing about getting out now as they need the cash, but the difference with them is that some members of the family don't want to get rid of the club. Very little will change at Manchester United until the Glazer family decides to sell the club or relinquish their majority stake. They are simply there for the money, and that is becoming more apparent with each passing day. The ownership promised improved communication with supporters following the disgraced Super League project, and that has been another false promise. Man United targeted January signing. If Aaron Wan-Bissaka can be sold, Manchester United spent more than they have ever done in a single transfer window this year when Erik ten Hag oversaw a huge overhaul in the summer transfer market. 6 players were signed and several players departed in what can be described as the first phase of Ten Hag's revolution at Old Trafford. Aaron Wan-Bissaka was one of the players with uncertain futures this summer after being dropped by Ralf Rangnick, who favoured Diogo Dalot at right back. Ten Hag has made the same decision, and Wan-Bissaka has made just one appearance this season. He has also struggled with injuries. Despite having both Dalot and Wan-Bissaka fit at the start of the season, United's interest in a right back was apparent, but they were not able to sign one after failing to offload the former Crystal Palace man. Now, it's being reported that United will look to sign a right back in the upcoming January transfer window if they can find a suitor for Wan-Bissaka. That is according to The Telegraph, who say that Ten Hag is keen to add competition to the right back position. So far this season, Dalot has started all games in all competitions. As per the report, United were also open to letting Wan-Bissaka leave earlier this year, but decided to keep him despite interest from West Ham and Crystal Palace. Furthermore, it's claimed that United want Dalot to sign a new contract, but Ten Hag prefers talks to be put on hold until the season is broken for the Winter's World Cup. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was bold when he insisted on signing Wan-Bissaka, and you cannot argue that the first 2 seasons were very promising. You could see that he was developing, but he has stagnated since then, and the development wasn't fast enough. Unfortunately for the 24-year-old, he is not what many modern coaches are looking for, and Ten Hag falls into that category. It remains to be seen who Ten Hag would like to replace Wan-Bissaka with, but if his judgment from this summer's transfer window is anything to go by, it's fair to assume that he will get it right. Man United join Premier League clubs in scouting Championship striker Ben Diaz. Manchester United are in desperate need of a goal scorer, and Ten Hag is likely to make that his next priority after overseeing a record-breaking transfer window this year. United invested heavily as Ten Hag built his squad, but a striker did not walk through the doors at Carrington, with Cristiano Ronaldo's failure to engineer a move away possibly impacting plans. Ten Hag's side are struggling to score goals at the moment, and the need for a forward is apparent. Anthony Martial is the Dutchman's preferred choice, but injuries have meant that Martial has only been able to start one game. Championship forward Ben Diaz has enjoyed a stellar rise to stardom over the last 2 years, with the Blackburn forward also becoming a regular for Chile. Now, it's being claimed that Manchester United are one of several Premier League clubs tracking the striker, with Tottenham also said to be interested. That is according to 90 Minutes, who say that Brereton Diaz has told the Blackburn hierarchy that he will be leaving the club upon the expiry of his contract next summer. It's believed that Diaz has a huge number of admirers in the Premier League, and the clubs abroad are also interested, with Sevilla and Ajax also said to be keen. Furthermore, it's added that a deal is possible in January, with Blackburn believed to be open to sale if £10 million is offered. United are searching for a striker, and no one knows how the story will end, but Ten Hag has already shown that he is capable of identifying his own targets. All of the Dutchman's signings over the summer were earmarked by himself, and it would be harsh to say that any of the 5 outfielders have not lived up to the expectations. Brereton Diaz may be a surprising target for United, but if Ten Hag has identified him as a possible solution, he should be trusted. I will be uploading daily Man United news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.